Hi yogis, this is Komal Dadlani and we're here today to continue with our study of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. And we're going to begin with a little invocation through the use of mantra, an invocation of the cosmic teacher. We remind ourselves that this kind of study goes beyond our intellectual comprehension and we need to wake up our ability to remain intuitive and receptive to the cosmic teacher, to the universal guru. So we do the mantra together and you can follow the mantra with the use of the slide being projected here. Sahana bhavatu, sahano bhunaktu, sahaveryam karavavahe, tejasvinavaditamastu, mae vitvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Namah Shivaya. So, during our last sessions, we have understood that the mind is a layer of energy, multiple layers of energy. Energy, which we call as prana, a prana that comes from all the various things that we interact with, all the different 5 elements that exist in creation give us prana. And depending how this prana is organized throughout the astral body, we said that this prana can take the 5 different shapes: muda, kshipta, vikshipta, ekagrata, nirodha. So depending on how this prana is organized, we then experience that either as depression, lethargy, low mood, or anxiety in the case of kshipta, stress, nervousness, irregular breathing, etc. So we realize that ultimately it is the way that prana is flowing through the manomaya and the vijnanamaya kosha that determines how well we feel in our mind and how well we feel on an emotional level as well. So if we want to feel centered, confident, one-pointed, even-minded, if we want to feel like we have the necessary clarity of mind in order to make a decision, then we need to make a concerted effort to collect our attention in what Patanjali described as ekagrata. So all of the waves, all of the vitris of the field of the mind are collected and unified into one single thought. So I just wanted to illustrate this further with this example over here. We're going to use this little Jenga tower to help us illustrate this further. So we're going to think of this Jenga tower and all the bricks in it as the full potential of energy that exists in our mind. So this is our manomaya and our vijnanamaya kosha, and each brick here are the different potential vitris, the different potential thought waves that can arise and come from the manomaya and the vijnanamaya kosha. So when we wake up in the morning, there's always usually a brief moment of silence, a couple of moments when we feel fully collected and fully centered. This is what the tower represents right now. So all of the rays of the mind, all of the potential vitris, which are represented by each one of these bricks, are fully collected and centered. And because everything is fully collected, you experience that as silence, as quiet, as peace, just when you wake up in the morning. But then what tends to happen as you interact with the various elements of the day, say for example you start to get ready to go to work, and then you realize that you have received a very important email from your boss and your attention gets scattered there. So some of your vitri, some of your attention goes into that situation. Then you are maybe preparing breakfast for your kids. Your kid tells you that they need to do a presentation for school that you need to participate on, or they require your help with something, so a little bit more of your attention gets scattered. And like this, your attention gets given and allocated to many different circumstances and many different situations throughout the day. You place your attention on work, on friends, on family, on projects for the future, on your holiday maybe that you want to take. And ultimately what happens throughout the day, if you do not make a concerted effort eventually, I'm not saying this will happen just within one day, but if you always live your everyday on a constant basis, providing and allocating attention to multiple things without at any given moment making a concerted effort to recollect all of this together, ultimately you will end up into a state of scatteredness such as muda, depression, low energy, which you feel as low energy, and actually you can see that there is a lot of energy. Really what's happened is that the energy is just scattered, or you will experience this as kshipta, anxiety, or feeling nervous about it. So what Patanjali is saying to us, and what he goes deeper into explaining into what is the sadhana pada, so the chapter where he gives us all the advice in regards to how to favor a more centered state of mind, how to avoid us remaining in a persistent state of scatteredness. He says we need to make a conscious and a concerted effort to bring the prana back, to bring the attention back to its center, which is what he refers to as meditation. Meditation is one of the key tools that he shares with us as a way to bring the prana back to its source. So when you are doing meditation, you sit in your practice, and if you have had this kind of day, or maybe you have had this kind of day and you wake up in the morning and you do your meditation the next morning, when you close your eyes, if you already have experience with meditation, you will realize that you see all of the situations and all of the people, circumstances that you have been placing your energy on, your attention on. So you see all your scatteredness in full form. So whenever you see the things that your attention is being scattered on, and you make a concerted effort to take attention off those situations, say for example you're in your practice and you feel distracted by the email that you didn't write, you look at that and you take attention off that and you return it back to its source. And the same with all the various multiple things that your attention has been distributed on, and you make a concerted effort to bring that back to the candle flame if you're practicing with the candle flame, or to bring it back to your breath. And eventually maybe a little bit of your attention still remains scattered because it is very difficult to fully recollect the mind. But even if you just manage a little bit of concentration, 12 seconds of concentration, and to remain a little less reactive to what's happening in your mind, then you will create an immediate shift of shape in the energy of Manomaya and Vijnanamaya. The shape of the energy changed from all the blocks being scattered to more of the blocks being collected. Some of it is still scattered, no problem, but at least a little bit more of it is collected. So then what that means is that when you go off in your day and you are still challenged and you're still having to respond and interact with many of the different variables in your life, then you will be able to respond in a more ekagrata way, in a more centered way, with more of your full self, with a way that is more satisfying to you, rather than responding in a vikshipta or in a muda way, in a negative way, depressive way, or in an anxious way, which you will end up experiencing as pain, which is what we studied in the previous classes, right? That ultimately muda and kshipta will always end up in you suffering and not being content with the ultimate result of the day-to-day. So I hope that you enjoyed the analogy of the Yenga tower with the rays of your mind, the vitris of your mind, and the importance of making a concerted effort to withdraw attention from different situations in the form of a meditation practice, which we're going to go deeper on during our next class, and how that can help us to sustain a more ekagrata way in our interactions in life. So I will see you during our next class. Thank you very much.